And today we are showing you another live duel from locals. This time on the top we have Carl playing Exosisters, and on the bottom we have Matt playing Dracoslayers. So he starts off with, of course, Special Summon Fenrir in defense, uses the effect to search out a second copy of itself. He's then going to activate Revolution Dragon, and in doing so he pays 500 life points to search out any dragon monster from his deck. Now obviously in Dracoslayers, it's really, really good because it's basically like having 6 copies of Dracoslayer, the tuner, and then it also has a really cool effect to revive from the graveyard as well. Now, sadly, Matt is too far down, but Carl is quite luckily reading all of the cards. So it looks like he scales the Majesty Pendulum, and basically this one has, if in the other scale, it lets you search out a Dracoslayer monster. Like, such a cool little card. And he's obviously going to put Luster in the other scale, use Luster to pop that Majesty Maiden, search himself out another copy of Majesty Maiden. So at the moment he's pretty much just recurred all of his hand advantage. So we'll get the Dynamite Knight. I'm trying to figure out how he's got it to the board. That might be a normal summon. Pitches, oh no, it must have been a special summon. Pitches Fenrir to get out the field spell, to get out Sky Iris. So I'm assuming the other scale might have been Dynamite Knight rather than Luster Pendulum. But Majesty Maiden, when she's special summoned or pendulum summoned, she will search, or maybe it's on normal summon. I missed what happened there. He moved a little bit fast. Okay, that was a Luster Pendulum, and then he synced into Ignister. Ignister is summoning out power from the deck. Now, I'm assuming he hasn't Pendulum summoned, otherwise you wouldn't be going down this route. So, the Pendulum summon is still very much live. Annoyingly, you can't see the scale, so apologies for that. I'll have to... The camera seems to be dictated more towards Carl's field, as you can see the full layout. Anyway, Matt goes into... beyond the Pendulum. He's probably going to end up paying another 1,200 life points, leaving him straight away on 63 already, which is mental. He's already paid 1,500, 1,800 life points. Sorry, actually, so it might be 62. Good maths, bro. No, I was right. It's 63. God damn it. These are on 63 life points. Pendulum summons out a Luster and a Majesty. Overlays into the Magispector XYZ, which basically allows you to detach and then special summon a face-up Dracoslayer from the extra deck. That's going to allow him to bring out power. He's then going to go into Selene. He'll have his 2 scales plus the Sky Iris. So he's pretty much been able to go full combo here, which is like, when this deck does get to go full combo, it's pretty scary. I believe he's not playing the entrainment into Baron route because he just doesn't have a Baron, but he does play the Odd Eyes version as well. So Selene has the ability to bring a spellcaster back from the graveyard or special one from the hand. Obviously, like I said, he'll have his 2 scales, plus he'll have the Sky Iris, which is why she has 3 tokens on it. And luckily, the Majesty Maiden is a spellcaster. So there's the Odd Eyes. So that's the Odd Eyes Art Pendulum. So if another Odd Eyes monster, there's Dissolver. So I'm assuming he's obviously popped a card with Sky Iris to search out one or the other. His opening was pretty nuts actually, so it's all half decent. I mean, I'm assuming his other scale would be the new Odd Eyes card, but there you go. He special summons out the Vortex Dragon. He then gets to bring back the Majesty Maiden. He's going to go into the Power Fusion, which basically triggers the Dynamite power that he's just used as material to add back from the graveyard, or add back face up from the extra deck to the hand. And then the Fusion monster lets him special summon one back from the graveyard, so he's going to Luster. He then uses Luster with Selene to make a 2-negate Appaloosa. So I'm assuming he doesn't have Zelantis, because in this scenario you probably Zelantis and reset the... Obviously you'd only reset your Fusion monster, but it would give you an option. I'm assuming he's discarded a card in order to, obviously, where the graveyard keeps getting picked up and everything, to get into another Ignister. Ignister will then special summon out the Ignis from the extra deck, from the deck. Is overlaying into a Hope Harbinger. Very interesting. So at the moment, there's a Fenrir to deal with, a 2-negate Appaloosa, a Vortex Dragon, and a Hope Harbinger. Which is actually pretty cool, because it means he can't, like, Carl can't attack the Appaloosa, because the Hope Harbinger will redirect to itself. So a very powerful board. Obviously, something like a Dark Ruler or something like a Droplet will pretty much turn this board off. But as it stands, Carl is facing down a Banish, a Spell Negate, 2 Monster Negates, and then an Omni Negate, which is insanely powerful. He's got 6 cards to try and break it. Whether he can break it or not, we will pretty much see if that's possible. In the other version, basically what you end up doing is you can still get Vortex on the board, but you ultimately end up adding to the board like a Baron de Fleur as well, which is pretty nutty, which is really, really cool. So I really like the Dracoslayer deck. I think it's a cool little deck. And the fact that everything kind of, it's not too expensive. So it's going to be cool to see. I don't think they'll get any more support because they pretty much cover the free, like apart from a masterpiece, they pretty much already cover all of the Dracos themselves. So now we just enter into think phase. I don't think Carl's gonna need to think or be able to think for like the remaining however long that was. What was that, like 6 minutes of a combo? So for him to then try and think for the remaining 34 minutes on winning time is definitely not going to happen. But we can see that he's got Martha. Okay, well, if you're going to open up any Exosister, that's definitely one you want to go with. Martha is a hard once per turn, I believe. So if it does get Appalooza'd, it probably will stop here. But you can't be worried about a Gamma because Martha doesn't let you special it, I believe. Oh, okay, so he wanted it to trigger the Fenrir. So it looks like he's got a Defissure. I wouldn't have even let that happen because I know as soon as you put 2 down there, he still has a normal summon, which can still get to the rank 4. And he still has an Elise that can special summon herself when you control any other Exosister. So, a bit of an odd decision there. So we've got a Defissure, possibly a Returnia, a Sophia. Oh, okay, cool. So that's like the best normal summon you could possibly get if you've got another Exosister. Attempts to use the effect, that's going to get met with Appaloosa. Overlay into Machillis, I suppose, is the best thing you could do here. The Machillis will then have the quick effect to target, non-target banish, but will also give the ability to search out something like a Pax. But without being able to get to a second Elise in order to special summon her and get another monster off of Pax, it's not looking so great. I suppose the best thing you could do is try and go to a Zeus, but even then, I mean, you can't because you use Martha. So what is the biggest power for an Exosist is also one of the biggest weaknesses as well, quite sadly. Apologies for the glare on the bottom board. All I can do is explain what they are. So you've got, going from left to right, is Sky Iris, which should technically be a little bit further up as the field zone. And then you've got Odd Eyes Vortex, you've got Fenrir, and then in the middle with the materials is Hope Harbinger. So what do you go into? Bit of zone jumping. Let's go. I mean, there really isn't anything he could do, because if he goes into Machillis, and then attempts to use Machillis's effect to detach the search, it will probably be met with an Appaloosa or a Vortex, and then you chain the second effect of Appaloosa to not Appaloosa, sorry, Machillis, to try and banish one of the monsters, and then it will get met with the other card. So it will leave Carl with 2 sets and then pretty much nothing else at all. So, I mean, literally, unless you open up Dark Ruler, there was next to no way of breaking this board. Even an Evenly would still get stopped by Vortex, but funnily enough, 2 Evenlies breaks this board in half. It's great. Goes battle phase. I believe he forgets the Hope Harbinger redirect. I mean, that is there was the route. If Hope Harbinger wasn't there, you would then kill the Appaloosa, meaning that you could use the effect on the Machillis to search. He will then decide whether Vortex gets triggered or not, and then you bait the Vortex by trying to banish it. So that's going to be 600 to Carl on that one. I believe it's 600. Machillis is 24, I believe. Again, I don't have all of these cards exactly in front of me. That would be pretty insane. Anyway, Carl scoops it up. So even after I've just changed the LPs, it's going to have to be reset anyway. He scoops it up, and, you know, rightfully so. I don't think there was a lot more that could have been done there. That was, for the version that Matt is playing the Dracoslayers, that was the strongest end board he could possibly have. So he starts with a D-Shifter. That's pretty strong. Not the strongest against Dracoslayers. They can play through it quite nicely. But it does lose, like, Revolution Dragon and everything else like that can be. There's no recycling the Ignister. There's also not bringing back off of the Dynamite Power. But that's not a good start either. Is that just a normal Summon Elise with a D-Fissure and a Trap card set? Is that Trap card Returner? No, is that a Fenrir? Does Matt open up a Fenrir again? I believe it is. Yeah, it is. Oh my god. 2 games in a row. Fenrir, boy. Card be broken. Has he just declared an attack to banish that sister? Is that legit what just happened? I mean, from my assumption, that would be what I would logically say, because I don't think he activated anything else. I'm surprised he did that, though. I don't know why you would need to attack. Because the sister's not really doing anything. You're not going to move anything from the graveyard. Again, the scales are out of camera view, so I can't tell if he's put scales on or not. Maybe he was worried about Returnia, because Returnia can just banish a scale. So maybe he wanted to get rid of the sister so that Returnia couldn't be activated because he doesn't control a sister, basically. So we'll go off that assumption. So there's 56 left on Carl's LP. Matt seems to be in an okay position here. We've got a Dynamite Power. It was Gozen! Yo! Oh, yo. And I think there's a Light, a Water, and a Earth on the board. That is insanely powerful. Because the fact is, well, the fact of the matter is, that Gozen straight away breaks that entire board down. Surely you keep the Fenrir, right? Because Fenrir can then get rid of the Gozen the next turn. So Carl's only got 1 card to play with. Unless that 1 card is an Elise, and he opens up a Martha. You would assume that if he had the Martha in hand already, he would have used it the first turn. If he rips a Martha off the top, broken. Is it a Martha? Oh, the tension! I'm gonna run out of there. Oh god. Okay. Trying to build it up there, and he just takes forever. What are you doing? So we know that it's a D-Fissure. Obviously, Matt doesn't know it's a D-Fissure. Oh, set 1 more. Set 2. Oh, what is that back row? I mean, it is going to force Matt's hand, because he is then going to have to declare with Fenrir. And Fenrir can only banish face-up cards face down. So we can only get rid of the first Gozen. Matt can't put any more monsters on the board that aren't a Fenrir. So I think he's activated Fenrir, searched out his own, the 3rd copy of Fenrir, attacking for another 24, putting Carl on 3,200 life points. Well, I think if I skipped ahead a little bit. I'm assuming that's what's happening, because he needs to get rid of the Gozen to even attempt to play. Any trap card that would remove Fenrir from the board is pretty, like, it's not that great, because then he just special summons down another Fenrir. Yeah, so there goes the Gozen. 2,400 life points more to Carl's LP. Yeah, I'm assuming he's just checking that it can banish any card and not just a monster. You know, Fenrir is not broken, I swear. It's definitely balanced. What? That silly card design. There's still 3 back row. I'm not sure. Apart from something like an anti-spell, I'm not too sure what else you side in. I'm not sure if he mains the Gozen or sides the Gozen. I think in a format like this, he's a little bit weak against Tier. But it'll be a really good card against Cash, because they play like fires, waters, earths, and winds at the moment. And I think Rise Heart is like a dark. I could be wrong on that, exactly that one. Or a Rise Heart, to be specific. So he top decks another card. Now, literally, I'm assuming Carl is just digging for a Martha. Not that Martha would save him, But by getting at least an Exosister on the board, he can get rid of that one Fenrir off the back of a Returner. Also, question actually, he might have even got into a Vadis. Vadis would be pretty good right now because you activate Vadis, you go into something like Machillis. But then again, you still need to kind of control the board state. Exosisters are actually creepy good. Like, they can hold down the fort a little bit. Obviously, Gozen really helped, and Matt wasn't able to push through it to kind of extend his board presence or interruptions. So I can't imagine either of them are in biggest kind of spots right now. That looks like a Vadis to me. So Vadis is going to pay 800 and then summon 2 sisters that are mentioned on the text, mentioned in each other's text to the field. So technically you could get a Martha that way. Yeah, which is exactly what he's going to do. So he's going to Vadis, which is paying another 800, which is going to take him down to 2400 LP. I wonder what 2 he's going to go for. I mean, oh, actually, no, you could go... I don't believe they're effects negated, so you could go for a Sophia and try and get a draw. Yeah, it looks like it's exactly what he's doing. Oh, okay, he didn't want to go for the draw. That's interesting. Maybe they are negated. I'm not, again, I don't have cards in front of me, so I'm not 100% sure. I mean, if he did go for the draw, you would assume that the Fenrir gets rid of it. Is Machillis 25 then? She must be, because I mean, she's just gone and punched Fenrir in the face. Ha! Get out of here, Fenrir. So, I mean, she's got the ability to banish one of the scales. So personally, I would do that. Okay, so the scales are Luster and Magispectre. That's weird that he left both of those in the scale. Surely you Luster to get rid of the Draco, the Majesty. So, okay. Anyway, activates Machillis, banishes the Majesty, detaches the material off the Machillis, and I think from this point on, unless Matt's hands, or like his top deck, unlocks in his entire hand, it's just going to get bad from here because he'll go for what I assume is Pax. Pax would then pay another 800, putting him down to 1600 LP. But that will allow him to get the Martha. You special out Martha. Martha gets you release. And from this point on, it's, I would say, because what this is going to do, we know he's got a D-Fissure, so he doesn't worry about any of Matt's cards going face up to the extra deck. He goes into the Caspatel. The Caspatel will then detach to search out an Exosister monster. Carl hasn't normal summoned this turn. Keep that in mind as well, because he actually special summoned off of Vadis. So, oh, the LPs haven't updated. There we go. So you would get the monster for a follow-up for the next turn, so possibly another Martha. Overlay Caspatel and Machillis go into Magnifica. Magnifica would then have a quick effect banish and a quick effect tag out to then get into a Machillis, which would provide another banish. And if he is sitting on a Returnia, that's another 2 banishes. So that's a D-Fissure with a 4 card banish. So that would definitely be both of Matt's scales, or both scales like 2 times over, which is absolutely mental. So definitely, the pendulum's definitely swung. Funny enough, pendulum back into Carl's favour on this one. It was literally just the Fenrir show, and unfortunately there wasn't something else that could push through. I wonder if Matt could have got 1600 more damage on the board. Because I mean, if you put 1600 more damage on the board, then you only get Vadis or Pax. Chances are you get the Vadis still. So either way, we've got the Magnifica, we've got a banish, and there's the flip of the D-Fissure, plus another set card. And he's already got one that's been set for quite a while now, so that's probably the Returnia. We know that Matt's got a Fenrir, so you special summon out Fenrir. He can't use the effect to search, but he can then declare an attack on the Magnifica and then attempt to banish it. Chances are the Magnifica would then tag out or use his effect to banish the Fenrir when it feels threatened. Maybe the third Fenrir comes down, possibly. And then she'll tag out and go into Machillis, which then gets rid of that new Fenrir. So that's 2 cards out of Matt's hand that we know of. And then everything else just starts slowly being chipped away at. I think that the D-Fissure, the Shifter plus D-Fissure plus Gozen was very powerful. So we're going to special out the second Fenrir. Obviously no effect on that one. He's already got the third copy of the Fenrir in the hand, so done, dusted on that. Where are we ticking over? What are we waiting on? I'm assuming he's trying to figure out if he can... I mean, we all know, or I would naturally assume if you're looking at it, that you probably let them go to battle phase, and that's where Magnifica comes in to banish the Fenrir. Worst case scenario, you let the declaration happen to Fenrir. Oh, normal summon Skullcrobat Joker. That will get you a Revolution Dragon, but there's no graveyard for Rev to pretty much go to, sadly. So what else do you go for? Do you go for... You've already got... We know he's got a Luster in the scale. Would I have held back the Joker? I wonder. I mean, it's probably the same outcome regardless. Like, you normal summon the Joker, use the effect goes through, gets the search. You declare an attack with Fenrir. Fenrir then will attempt to trigger to banish the Machillis. You can then activate Machillis' effect to tag out. Activate Magnifica's effect to tag out. It does look like he searched out the Revolution Dragon. It does look like he's activated the Revolution Dragon as well. I don't believe Rev has to go to the graveyard full cost. I could be wrong, but obviously those two can judge their own game. But yeah, if you dig, is he digging too far? Do you just declare an attack with Fenrir, bait out the Machillis because the Magnifica, because then Magnifica would then be forced to what? Attempt to banish the Fenrir, and then you chain Fenrir's. So Fenrir declares effect target the Magnifica. Chain the effect of Magnifica to switch out into Machillis while also chaining the effect to banish a card on the field. So you would banish the Fenrir. Then you've got a Machillis in the battle phase, no Fenrir on the board, and just a Skullcrobat Joker. Or just no card. No, probably be better that way then, because then you have no monsters on the field. So then you special summon out the third Fenrir in main phase 2. Normal summon the Skullcrobat Joker. Skullcrobat Joker's effect to search out, which is exactly what Revolution, or where we're at the moment. And rather than facing down a Magnifica, banish and tag out, you pretty much got rid of both of it. Ooh, the scales were allowed to be completed. That's why. Gozen, got him. Hot damn. Okay, fine. That's gonna... I mean, Skullcrobat's a dark, Ignis is a fire. It looked like he brought out Luster, which is a light. And he keeps the Fenrir, which is an earth. And then this is GG now, because Magnifica can attack twice, so that's 56. We know that Carl searched out the Martha the previous turn, so the Martha will then pretty much turn into another rank 4 and push it overboard. So there's the effect of Magnifica to banish the Fenrir. I mean, the only other benefit you would have done is you would have been able to clear off another scale, but because you want the OTK, you want to make sure that the Magnifica goes through. It looks like they both scoop. Oh, no, you don't. Sorry, apologies. Talents to steal the Magnifica. Interesting. So they were trying to bait the Magnifica. Well, if that's the case, I probably would have then... That's when you declare with Fenrir. And don't even use the Skullcrobat, because then... Obviously, the Gozen changes everything anyway. But what that would have allowed you to do is it would have allowed you to declare with Fenrir, force the Magnifica, talents steal the Magnifica, or let it swap into Machillis, steal the Machillis, attempt to continue to make your plays, and that's where you go normal summon Skullcrobat, search out everything you need to. Obviously, you lose your battle phase, but as soon as Carl goes to flip the Gozen, you can then chain, unless it's monsters. Let me just have a... Is Machillis just monsters? I thought it was just card. No, because he banished the scale last time. Yeah, so Magnifica is just to banish a card. So the Magnifica, not Magnifica, I keep mixing the two up. Machillis would be summoned that turn. So it would mean that Carl couldn't flip the Gozen until the Machillis returned to him. So it would have been able to push through for the OTK. I mean, obviously I'm looking at it from a different angle. I'm not there playing through the player's eyes, so I'll see stuff a little bit different, because you have a bit more time to kind of tick it over. You see what else is in there, and obviously I've played Exosisters as well, so I know a little bit about the deck. Anyway, it looks like Matt concedes and we move on to that all-important game 3. So I'm going to assume Matt goes first. There's not very long left on time. I think there's about 5 minutes left. Fenrir again. All 3 games he's seen Fenrir. Like, there was someone there that was playing Cashteras and they didn't see Fenrir as consistently as that. Hot damn. They saw Extended Thunder just as much, but you know. Anyway, Fenrir, search out Fenrir. Creative we're going for. But the big almighty, what is going to happen next? So, time is clicking down. I think there's like 5 minutes left on the round, something along that, if I remember correctly. I should probably reset the LPs. A little bit slack on that one, I do apologise. So let's remember when the games are reset. There we go. Is this it? I mean, again, Matt could be playing the Scouts. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, Matt sets 2 cards. I remember one of them is a Judgment, one of them is an Imperm. So I will take this on board. I know well and truly. I should probably set out the layout first for them, because like you can see, it's probably like 3/4 Carl's Matt and a quarter of Matt's Matt. So what have we got? We've definitely got a Martha, and it looks like not Stella, Irene, the rare. So that's Carl's got mini combo. That looks like a Dark Ruler, another monster, another spell, which I can't quite tell exactly what it is, and one unknown card. So I mean, is it worth wasting Dark Ruler on Fenrir? Probably not. I mean, it's getting rid of the back row. That's what he's kind of got to deal with. I love Martha. The fact that Martha doesn't even need to, the triggers in hand. It's like, ha, Imperm, get dunked on. But then everything else that comes after that does just kind of cry a little bit. Is that an evenly matched? Whoa, it isn't evenly matched. Okay, so Matt now needs to decide. And I think he actually activates the Judgment, if I remember correctly. Because he was like, oh, I'll just let time kill me instead of that. And it also lets him keep his Imperm. So I think at this point, it's always going to be downhill, because there's like 2.5 minutes left of time. You've got 4,000 life points to come back from. Your opponent's playing with 5 cards in their hand. He's already used his battle phase, so quite honestly, if he wants to get through the Fenrir, surely you Dark Ruler now. If that is a Dark Ruler, I could be wrong. It's going to use the Fenrir effect. Oh, it's Zoro! It's the Magister. So this is kind of a cool little play. I like this, because it equips itself with... it gets impermed anyway. But it equips itself with a Magister from the extra deck that lets you pop back row. And there's also ways it can search out and special and spellcasters from the hand as well. And because all of the... Did he use Martha? Oh yeah, because he normal summoned the Zoro. Sorry, apologies. I always remember Martha's like, you can't special summon, but it doesn't say anything about not normal summoning Zoro, boy. So we normal summon the Zoro. We're going into Machillis. Machillis effect is going to detach. It's going to banish the Fenrir. I'm confused as to... Yeah, the Fenrir is probably... Oh no, sorry, apologies. Fenrir banished the Martha. Zoro goes into Machillis. Machillis searches out the Returnia. And it looks like there's a Returnia, a Dark Ruler. Is that an Ultimate Slayer? Yo, he was playing Ultimate Slayer. Yes. Oh, that's pretty cool. That would have sent like a Link plus. So that's Appaloosa and then another bait out for the XYZ. So you set, like, again, the clock just ticks away now. So you set Returnia. You set one more, whether that's a Gozen, whether that's something else. I'm assuming that's an Ultimate Slayer, one of that's a Dark Ruler. So it kind of just gives Matt more to kind of deal with. And then Matt's going to draw for turn. And he's probably got a Fenrir. But then I'm not too much sure. You already know that Carl's got it. And I think time just gets called and wraps it up there. So it looks like there was a power, it was the vanilla. It was the vanilla Dracoslayers. And yeah, there you go. Dark. I don't believe that is Ultimate Slayer. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.